Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over what we can expect with the rest of the storm system as it gets ready to roll on through parts there of the Midwest and as well as the Ohio Valley on these next couple of hours, and as well as we head into the evening hours today. And then we're also going to be going over what we can expect in the tropics, which we do have tropical storm Rafael currently around, so we will need to be watching that one too as well, especially as it does get closer to making landfall. So, if once again, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. We will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest on Rafael as it does get closer to making landfall, but also don't forget to leave a like too as well. Those help out more than you know. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns down below that you have. We'll get to those right after today's weather forecast, and you guys can leave anything down below as long as it's respectful. But let's first go ahead and take a look at what we can expect for today. And as you guys can see, we do currently have a marginal risk for severe weather across parts there of Dixie Alley, which does include Louisiana, getting up there towards southeast Arkansas. So this is going to be another area to keep an eye on closely today, and same goes for central Wisconsin up there. And, this isn't really going to be anything too crazy, but what I can say, though, is that we cannot roll out a brief tornado or two across both of these areas. And same goes with a couple of strong damaging wind gusts across both of these areas as well. So, main concerns for today will be a brief tornado or two, along with a couple of isolated damaging wind gusts. So, make sure to be aware about that if you do either live in Louisiana or even southeast Arkansas or central Wisconsin. So once again, make sure to be weather aware for today. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the risk for flash flooding for today. And as you guys can see, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for flash flooding heading from parts there of eastern and northern Mississippi all the way up there into southern Indiana as we head throughout today. So if you are going to be voting out there today, make sure you are watching for flooding even across southern Illinois, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi, parts there of eastern Arkansas. So once again, make sure you are watching very closely for flash flooding, as we could even be seeing some isolated significant flash floods, which will, just depend on how much rainfall you get. But, even if we don't end up seeing that, we should still be watching for at least some minor flooding. And once again, make sure to be aware about that if you are going to be voting anywhere from southern Indiana all the way back down there towards extreme northeastern Louisiana. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the alerts now, and this is pretty much what's happening today, okay, or even the next few days. And this storm system is going to continue to bring that flash flood potential anywhere from northwest Arkansas all the way up there into parts of St. Louis, Missouri. So, this is going to continue to move towards the east, and as it does, once again, this area right in here is going to be at that risk for flash flooding for today, and that's why we want you guys to be weather aware, especially if you're going to be voting out there. But not only that, we also got other storms currently ongoing in the northwest, and of course these Rockies, where we do have a lot of winter storm warnings. We even got some blizzard warnings, which is pretty much these two red colors right there. Those are pretty much for the highest elevations there in Montana, currently under some blizzard warnings. But even northern Ohio, or not northern Ohio, but northern Idaho, currently under some winter storm warnings, and as well as parts there of Washington also under some winter storm warnings as well. So, make sure you are taking driving conditions seriously by using lots of precautions. And, if you are under either a winter storm warning, winter weather advisories, or a blizzard warning especially, make sure you're taking all those precautions if you are going to be doing a lot of driving out there. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the tropics, and as you guys can see, we currently have Tropical Storm Rafael currently getting ready to impact parts there of Jamaica, and this is going to continue to head towards parts of western Cuba, and then we'll eventually, get there to making landfall, and as it does, this is expected to become a hurricane, okay? The good news is that this probably won't be a major hurricane, but this could be, a Cat 2 hurricane as it does reach both these Cayman Islands and as well as western Cuba, like I said. So we will need to keep an eye on this very closely as this does, reach parts there of eastern and western Cuba, because we even got some tropical storm watches in effect for the far end of Cuba. But as this does continue to head towards the north and northwest, this will continue to stay a hurricane as we head into Friday, but will die down as we head into the later part of the weekend, though. So, it's still a little bit questionable on if this will still be a hurricane or not, because models will either show this heading towards, Florida or, parts there of Alabama, but some of them are showing it going more towards, New Orleans, and some even show it going more towards, parts there of southwest Louisiana. So, it's kind of all over the place as of right now on where this is, on where the system is going to go. But what I can tell you though is that this entire area right there, and I didn't mean to do that, but this entire area right there is gonna have to pay attention as we head into the next few days, because once again, this system is really gonna have that potential to make landfall somewhere in this area, but we just don't know how strong it will be, and we just don't know exact. Let's now go ahead and take a look at some of the impacts that we can expect as Rafael does get closer. And as you guys can see, we are currently watching down here towards the Florida Keys for potential severe weather, because Rafael will pretty much be right there, and usually on the eastern edge of these systems, those are the areas that typically bring the severe weather. So even though you guys won't be in for a direct tropical storm hit, you guys will likely experience severe weather on the eastern edge of Rafael as it does move on through. And main concern will be that tornado threat across the Florida Keys, but we also need to be watching, anywhere from Fort Myers all the way back down into parts there of extreme storm Florida. So, once again, we are going to have to watch this area very closely. Thankfully, no severe wind or hail threat, but we will still, be keeping an eye on it closely, as once again, main concern looks to be that tornado threat. We may be live for this, especially if things start to ramp up tomorrow, but that still remains very uncertain though, because this may just be a little bit of a bust, and it's a very small area too as well. So we may or may not be live for this, but I'll just have to see depending on my schedule. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the water temperatures. This is another thing that will determine the strength of Rafael as it does move on through, and all across these coastal areas we got 25 degrees Celsius, even some 24 degrees Celsius popping up. That is more 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below what you want for tropical storm development. So as this does get closer to the coastal areas, this is going to continue to die down, because if we go back and look at that, it dies down from a hurricane back to a tropical storm before it reaches the Louisiana coast, and that's the reason why it dies down, is because of those cooler waters up there. So once again, we'll have to see exactly how this plays out, because if this ends up hitting these 28 degrees Celsius marks, that might be a little bit of a development, because that's just barely 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but that is still going to be something to watch closely for, and of course remains very uncertain by this point. But if it does, it may strengthen just a little bit, but once again, that does still remain uncertain. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. We will continue to keep you guys updated on on Rafael as it does get closer to making landfall somewhere along those coastal areas, which, like I said, the exact hit remains uncertain still, and the strength of it also remains uncertain because there's a couple parts of the Gulf of Mexico that are still a little bit favorable for development, but especially along the coastal areas is where the development doesn't really look to be too favorable. But, once again, make sure to subscribe as we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest on Rafael. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up too as well. Those help out more than you know. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you have down below. You guys can ask any questions about Rafael, or you guys can even leave anything down below as long as it's respectful. And I hope you guys all have a great Tuesday, and we will see you guys in the next one.